Hi guys, Chantal here from Grounded Mind. How are you doing today? It's a not very nice day in the UK today. Rainy. It's rained every day in the UK since the start of the year. So, a bit of depressing news for you there. But yeah, this video today is about grief. Are you grieving your past? It's a question that has been asked, and I think a good topic to speak about. Those of us that have mind-body conditions, and me speaking specifically from having vestibular migraine, and even when I had lichen planus, these two chronic conditions left me in a state of, well, when they first appeared and when I was going through the journey of having the condition without having or seeing a way out. All I could think of was, this isn't my life. This wasn't me a week ago. This wasn't me a month ago. What is my future going to look like? And even with going through the healing process, more so when I had vestibular migraine, I had kind of bursts of, I've always been an outgoing type person, the life and soul of the party, the planner. How on earth will I ever get back to being that person that I know? Like, what's going on? As I think for people like myself, when I learned and when I was going through the healing process, which was me learning about body scanning, learning about somatic tracking, learning about how to be present with my symptoms and seeing the reduction of my symptoms, I got a new burst of energy in terms of how I saw my future, because I could see, and I know I always say this, I became my own evidence, and so therefore I was able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas I know that some people really do struggle with seeing the light at the end of the tunnel because they can't see one, and not being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel is because the fear and the anxiety and the rumination and the fear loop cycle, as it's going around, you can't become your own evidence, because as we know with our neural connectors, if we're feeding fear, then it's difficult for our nervous system to stabilise and for us to see a reduction in our symptoms. Because I got to a point where my nervous system did stabilise and my symptoms reduced, and I learned how to be more calm. I learned how to build a relationship with my symptoms. The grief of the past settled because bit by bit I used circumstances in my life to practice the things that I knew that I had to practice, which was looking at the fear, facing those fears, feeling what those situations felt like in my body, in my head, exploring those sensations while in those positions of fear. That is how I faced and dealt with the fear and carried on, and that created safety. And so I know people find it difficult to exercise safety, therefore the fear lingers, and then we think about what life used to be, what you used to do, what you used to be like, the person people saw you as, how the colleagues saw you, how your children saw you, how your family and friends saw you, how your parents saw you, how a partner sees you. All of these things come to mind, and then that rumination of negativity just drives and reinforces the symptoms. But there is absolutely a way out of that thinking, that cyclical thinking that keeps the fear and the symptoms alive. There is a way out. And my advice to anyone that is struggling with the grief of grieving the past because they feel stuck, is to use those situations that you see yourself or you used to be in. So for example, if you used to go for a coffee every Friday, or you used to go out with your friends on the weekend, or you to take, you know, all of these different things that you used to do that you've completely shut the door of now. Use those opportunities to practice safety. And it's difficult. I am not at all saying, oh, it's easy, I'm just going to go there, I can do this. It's so easy to do. I know it can be difficult, but I have been there in a situation where the most intense, stressful situation, which I got my mind to a state of, right, I am going to face my fears because my brain is trying to protect me. So, for example, go to a coffee shop. No, you may feel unbalanced, but when you do go into that coffee shop, first of all, tell your brain, I know you're trying to protect me. Then you walk into that coffee shop. Feel, if you feel unbalanced or whatever thing you feel, that sensation that's happening, you feel it. You feel what that feels. Do not judge it. Do not fear it. Do not be scared of it. Walk while it's walking with you. If you feel really, really bad, maybe that isn't the best time to do this. But if you just feel a bit off, or you feel like, not 100% great, 90% great, 80% great, use those moments as moments where you can invite your symptoms to come for a coffee with you. Tell your brain that you're good. Take some deep breaths, ground yourself. That sends safety to the brain. Sit down with your friend and try to see how you do and what should happen without you expecting it to happen, because what we don't want to do is create stress and tension in your brain. Don't expect an outcome. See what happens, because what should happen is that your brain should actually understand that you're safe and symptoms should come down. Tell yourself that you've got this. And when you do this in some situations and circumstances, and you think and you feel like your symptoms have reduced, that's your evidence that you've calmed your nervous system down and that you're okay. Doing that over and over again in certain situations, it creates a reduction. It makes things better. It makes your brain see that you are safe, and your brain doesn't want to protect you, because your brain's like, oh, right there, she's not stressed about this, she's all right, she's accepted it, okay, I'm going to back off. And that's what your brain does. And so the more and more we get that safety, the more and more we provide that clarity, is the more and more you won't be grieving your past, because you'll be going back into the things that you used to do. And that's exactly what happened with me. And so I know it's difficult, because relationships can change. You want to lock yourself in a room away from the world. But what we need to do is step out of the room, open the door slightly, try to go back into the things that you used to do with safety, with clarity, with calm, grounding yourself. And bit by bit, these situations do get better. It's all about mindset. The biggest challenge that people have, that some of my clients have, is how to shift that mindset from worry, fear, anxiety and depression to, okay, this is who I am, I have got this, and creating that safety. The moment we can figure that out and we can capture that, it's just life-changing. And I'm here to help support with that. That's what I do. I help to support you with that mindset shift. And so if you need any advice and any support, and I will make sure that my puppy isn't trying to disturb us, you know where I am. Get in touch. Okay, you take care. Bye.